All right, welcome everybody. My name's Marcus, and first off, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to be interviewing John Crestani today, who is a six-figure super affiliate, and I've just found out that John actually makes $2,000 a day just from one campaign. So that's what he's going to be talking about today, and it's really, really exciting. He's been sharing some of the stuff that he's doing, and yeah, I'm just blown away. So he's actually going to take you behind the scenes of his Facebook account, which is really exciting, and he's going to show you absolutely everything that he's doing to generate that kind of revenue. So it's really, really exciting. Now, if you're into internet marketing and you've got some friends that you think that would benefit from this webinar, because it's all about paid traffic and it's really, really exciting stuff, then what I encourage you to do is just post about this on Facebook so you can join, let your friends join as well. So if you go over to the page where you're watching this video, so just below this video, I've already written something that you can post on your Facebook. So all you have to do is copy and paste it along with the link, and then just share it to all your friends, and I really appreciate that. And that just means that more people can benefit from what we're going to be talking about today. So if you want to ask questions along the way, then you can do that, and there should be a chat box just below this video somewhere on that page. So what we're going to do is we're going to give John the opportunity first and foremost to tell his story and just talk a little bit about himself and how he got internet marketing and all that kind of stuff. And then he's going to go into his campaign, and he's going to show you exactly how he's making money and all that kind of stuff, and then he's going to answer questions at the end of that. So if you do have questions along the way, then I encourage you to ask them, but just bear in mind that I'm going to actually ask John at the end of the webinar. But like I said, as the questions come to mind, just keep them coming, and yeah, we'll get to the question and answers at the end. So before we actually start the webinar, I just want to open with a word of prayer. So I just want to commit this time to God. So I just would ask that you, if you're comfortable, if you don't want to, that's fine. But if you're comfortable, just bow your head and close your eyes, and we'll just open up with a word of prayer. So Father God, thank you for this opportunity today to bring everyone together, and for opening up the door for me to talk with John Crestani. So I just ask, Father God, that you would bless this time to each and every one of us, and that each and every person that's watching this video would be blessed and that they'll get something out of it. And I just pray that you would open up people to be able to understand what John's talking about here, and that they would retain this information so that they'd benefit from it. And yeah, I just pray that this time would be a blessing. So thank you again, Father God, and just bless this time to us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce John. So John, thank you again for your time today. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for joining us on the webinar. So I might just have to get you to unmute your mic there, John. There we go.
Hey guys, so happy to be here. Happy to be able to share some cool stuff with you guys. And I know I was always, when I was starting as an affiliate, I was always looking for every possible advantage I could, and real exposure to real campaigns. I'm happy where I am at life right now, and I don't know if you guys can see, I'm actually in Medellin, Colombia right now. I get to do anything I want right now. I basically be anywhere I want and live life on my own terms. So it's a big separation from where I used to be. So yeah, happy to give back, happy to share, and Marcus is an awesome dude. So.
Awesome, John. So do you want to just start by just telling us your story about how you actually, sort of where you came from, what it was initially that interested you about internet marketing, and how you basically got started?
Sure. So some of this might come off a little controversial, but I definitely, did some shady things in the beginning. The fact of the matter is, It takes that sort of attitude. So where I started was I was actually in yeah. Basically, my first 2 years of college, I moved away and I started doing started hanging out with the wrong crowd, started doing stuff that probably wasn't very healthy, and I just was very depressed. And what I did was I took a 8 month I took 8 months. I took a semester abroad, just stayed out in Thailand, actually, of all places. I know it's near you guys in New Zealand, but I stayed out there and I just read a ton of books. I read actually a ton of self-improvement books and a ton of religious books, including I don't know if you guys can see, I'm wearing a Tony Robbins hat right now. I went to bed last week, but among others, it was a 4-hour work week. And the 4-hour work week, I would say, definitely sort of it showed me that anything's possible. Um, I started actually, because I had all these torrents I had all these torrented files of self-improvement tapes, and I noticed some of them sold for, people were selling them online for $3,000. And I said, hey, why don't I just sell a pirated version of this, or a burned copy or whatever, for a couple $100, you know? And it was mainly pickup artist taste, and from there I posted some things on eBay classifieds, and I started making money online. I started making about $300 a day, until that got shut down. Then I started actually selling the answers to lots of homework. This is when I got back to college. I started figuring out marketing. I started putting up flyers on campus and study guides with lots of answers for the online classes that they offered at my school. And I couldn't sell anything. I put these flyers up and nobody would fucking contact me. And so I apologize if I use lots of swear words. It's just kind of my California video. So I needed to figure out a way to make money because I couldn't do it on eBay anymore. My PayPal account was shut down. And I started split testing headlines. I started saying, I said, I have all the answers to your online courses. That was my original headline. What I moved into was I started split testing headlines such as like, I have all the answers to business courses, online business courses, and split test images. I split test calls to action. I don't know if you've seen the little tear tabs. We can tear the bottom of the flyer. But that was without knowing that I was testing. I was doing split testing, and finally, and maybe I'd get one person would contact me. I put up 20 flyers and one person would contact me. Now it was really frustrating because I was like, look, I have all the answers. I have all the answers to online courses. I have the best study answers. And finally, I was relentless. I think I went out about 15 different times, failed 15 to 20 times of putting up 20 flyers, 20 flyers, 20 flyers. And finally, I put up a headline that said, guaranteed B plus or better in FIN 30300. And that was the actual first title of the online finance class, FIN 30300. Without knowing that I put a benefit, guaranteed B plus or better. I had put a risk reversal. I was taking all risk away from the person. And so I was guaranteeing it or your money back. And I was also being extremely specific. Instead of saying I have the answers to all the online courses, which I did, I did that flyer, and I got more response out of that flyer in one day. Just 6 flyers I put up around the finance and accounting classrooms. Just around those classrooms, I got more response out of just a few flyers around those classrooms than I did in the previous 2 months. I've been going up setting flyers combined. And from the people who contacted me, basically I would just I'd show them the PDF file I had on my laptop, and I'd have them pay me $350 for it. And I started making a lot of money at college, and I spent it all because I was young and stupid. But inadvertently I backed my way into marketing, and I caught that bug at that first major win because I saw testing, and you get this big rush. That rush of making $1,000 a day, and I've been working at a movie theater before, making about $7 an hour. I worked about 16 hours a week, so I made about, let's say, after taxes, less than $1,000 a month. So going from that to making that in a day was life changing for me, and I ended up expanding and starting to sell them online. That's where I really started. That was how I got into marketing. I got into online marketing as I started selling these study guides, through a WordPress blog using AdWords. This is about in, say, 2009. I was doing this, and so that was 2010. So and then basically I got kicked out of college, but I caught the bug, and I wasn't haven't turned back since then.
That's so cool, John. So that was basically your first experience with putting an offer in front of, with your $1,000 a day, putting an offer in front of a targeted audience with good copy, exactly what people wanted.
Pain, there's a very strong pain point. I know that it's there's a very strong pain point, especially the closer to the end of the semester. And for international students, there are a lot of Asian international students who don't speak English, or they really didn't want to do college. Their parents just told them they had to. They just wanted the answers, and it was there was pain, there was benefit, there was strong call to action, there was urgency, there was all of those factors combined. It worked out very well. And my marketing is not perfect by any means, but I would say that the defining factor was, instead of looking at all the reasons why it could work out, I took the mentality of, okay, how do I get this to work out? I never once said, flyers don't work, stop doing flyers. I focused just on that one offer, study guides. I focused just on that one traffic source, which is flyers around campus. And that's not an online story, but that's how I got into marketing. Ever since then, I shifted to online marketing, which is infinitely more scalable, mind you. And but all the same principles apply, the same mentality, and that's what I've been doing ever since then.
So that was when you started to learn the foundations of marketing, which then you've obviously moved into internet marketing. So what was your first experience with internet marketing in terms of, because you're a paid traffic expert, John, I imagine that would have been a journey to get from where you are, to get from where you were to where you are now. So how did you sort of start getting into paid traffic and all that?
Great question. So how I started getting into paid traffic was I started doing this on the internet. I started selling study guides, and also at this time I'd actually expanded into essay writing services. Basically, I used Craigslist to find stay-at-home moms in Omaha, Nebraska, to write essays for college students. Keep in mind, white people are guilty about getting their homework done for them. So usually it was Asian international students around the United States and Australia and the UK. It was almost always Asian students, for whatever reason. Or just foreign people who English wasn't their first language. So I started a website, and I'd been experimenting around with paid traffic. Well, over this time, I just been learning AdWords the same way. I just been testing out different techniques. basics of setting bids, of doing ads, and placing ads, and where to place ads, how to set them, put them on websites, or how to put them on keywords, and all that stuff, different match types. And I took the same mentality. I was testing everything out. This about in 2010. Problem was, I made it way too complicated because I was trying to create my own offer, and I was trying to create a complicated software system to do everything automatically and to deliver things, search capabilities, all this weird stuff, and I ended up spending basically every penny I'd earned in software, in website development, because I didn't have to develop websites, I'd been paying people. Although I knew a little bit, I still needed help, and website design. And I ended up spending five figures, everything I'd earned during that time, and I went fucking broke. I went in debt, trying to build this perfect online system, which didn't work out. And I actually got a job for a year or two after that. Doing AdWords, in my field, just doing AdWords for other companies, until I really started getting into affiliate marketing again. And in 2012, I'd say in September of 2012, I was able to go full-time affiliate marketing again. And that was when I made, let's say I made $35,000 that month. I went from a $6,000 a month job to making $35,000 in a month. And I continued to kind of average that income for quite a long time. It's gone up since then.
That's crazy. So you went from $6,000 when you started working for yourself, $6,000 a month in your job, to $35,000 working for yourself.
Yeah. But what was great was that I chose a job where, no matter what, every day I was learning more about what I was doing, and it took me, I was not launching affiliate campaigns constantly during those 2 years I was working. And if I was, I think I would have been much more, successful. But yeah, so I just did.
Wow, that's awesome. So it was interesting what you were saying as well about how you'd overcomplicated things for yourself with your software thing and your website and things like that. I can relate to that. I'm sure a lot of people watching this can relate to that. I think when most people start out in any kind of business, they've got this massive brand idea or something like that, and they just overcomplicate absolutely everything, not realizing that, hey, all you need is good traffic, an offer that converts, and so on and so forth. So, John, if you don't mind me asking, what were you doing that made, if you don't mind sharing, that made $35,000 a month? Because that's an insane amount of money.
It was actually a total fluke. So I ended up running into, because I always networked with a lot of other affiliates and internet marketers on forums. And one guy who I know was, his name is Crestani. He actually said, "Hey, man, I'm actually coming out from wherever you live, North Carolina, out to LA for something called Neil Strauss's Secret Society meetup." And this is it's actually a group of people who pay $50,000 a year to be a part of this really high-end men's self-improvement. Ballers, obviously, who can afford that. And so he said, "Hey, you can be my guest to this thing." I was like, "Oh, cool, man." It was a fancy hotel in Hollywood, California. because that's where I lived at the time. And so I went with him, and I actually met a guy named Kelly Felix, also known as the Rich Jerk. He came out with a product in 2007 called the Rich Jerk, and they did nationwide infomercials across the U.S. And it was how to make money online. It's a very famous product, all over the internet, and he was making 500 a month from this product. It was the number one selling product on ClickBank for about a year and a half to 2 years, and yeah, it was, he was big time, and he actually had a gold company. And he said, "Hey man, I said, oh man, great to meet you." He's like, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I do PPC." So he's like, "Really? You should. We don't have any PPC affiliates for my gold company." No, I started a gold company. You should try being an affiliate. You should try out some traffic. And I said, okay, yeah, anything you say. And I tried out. I spent $5,000. Because this guy was like a god to me. Maybe I spent $4,000 or something in traffic, and yeah, it just turned into a lot more than I expected.
So it was a winner straight off the bat.
Yeah, I got lucky, but you create your own luck, and at that point, keep in mind, all I've been doing for the previous 2 years was just getting better and better and better at PPC, and for some reason, I hadn't been launching enough affiliate campaigns, and
it's interesting, John, that with paid traffic, because I've done a little bit of paid traffic myself, and I've watched videos with, I can't remember his name, Chad Mitzvah, or that's probably not his name, the Traffic Black Book guy. You may not have heard of him, but these are guys that are just doing monster media campaigns, and it just seems to me that if you want to make a killing online, if you can master paid traffic, you just make your life so much easier. Because if you know how to get tons and tons of targeted traffic to an offer, the world's your oyster, more or less. Is that a fair comment?
It's definitely I would say it's definitely a fair comment. The great thing about paid traffic is it's instant, and it's complete. It's instantly scalable. And what I've all paid traffic is more or less very similar. And just to kind of get into what I'm going to be talking about today, I'm gonna focus specifically on Facebook, because that's been a big area where I've been. I just see massive opportunities there. AdWords is great. I still run a ton of traffic on there, but Facebook is one area where I see it's still completely unsaturated. It's still, people don't have a very good understanding of it, and they aren't taking advantage of many of the new features. So some of the things I'm going to go over, when we get into it, are going to be what I call the lookalike audience unfair advantage method, which is just using lookalike audiences to dramatically increase your targeting and create incredibly focused targeted campaigns. I'm going to go over my 7%. I call it the 7% plus CTR technique, because getting 7% plus CTRs on Facebook is pretty crazy. But I've been able to do this multiple times, and I'll kind of go into how I do that. I'll also go into how to get really cheap cost per click on Facebook, which is really useful if you want to test the most data possible. I'll go into, this is massive, is how to get people to share your ads. I was laughing with my buddy about this the other day, but I said we're manufacturing viral marketing campaigns. Over 1,000 people shared our ad. We've been running it for one day, and over 1,000 people shared it to all their friends. People are sharing my affiliate.
That's funny.
I'm not paying for any of that traffic. 1,000 people. an extra 1,000 people share it, an extra 100 people of their friends see it each. Maybe that's an extra 100,000 people who see my affiliate link.
Yeah.
It's insane, and it's really cool. And I've done it on multiple campaigns, and it's really helped me out. And I'll also go over just some tricks on how to kind of, guarantee more of your ads will get approved. Not a full guarantee, but how to get, even shady ads that may be really good marketing that Facebook doesn't necessarily like, get them all approved. So, yeah, those are the things I've been, I think all the audience is going to like that, and I'll be completely transparent about my Facebook campaign because I'm a partner in the offer. And I'm running, I spend over $1,000 a day on Facebook promoting the offer to make about, let's say, 1,500 or something. Yesterday,
So you're making about $1,000 a day net.
More than that. Well, a little bit more than that because I'm not counting Facebook. So I'm not. AdWords. I'm not going into my AdWords campaigns.
Wow, that's
I'm just
insane.
focusing. Yes. So I'm doing about the same sort of volume on AdWords.
Yeah, really cool. John, just before we get into all the Facebook stuff, I'm really interested in your experiences with Kelly Felix because I remember buying the Rich Jerk back in the day, and I know a little bit about Kelly Felix.
Really?
So I'm interested. Yeah. I'm interested to know how it went with the gold company and stuff like that. Are you still involved with that today, or?
I'm actually very good friends with Kelly Felix. I was was the top affiliate for their program for, let's say, 6 months out of the last 2.5. I was actually at Kelly Felix's house last week when I was in San Diego for the Expo meetup, and we had dinner and we watched Limitless together and drank some beers. I consider him a mentor actually at this point. He's an amazingly intelligent person who just gets marketing, gets how to market something, and he's moved to the next level in both his life. He recently got married. He has a really nice house now, and he's just a very I consider a mature marketer and very smart. And I would recommend anybody. He has a course called Bring the Fresh now, and I would recommend anybody who wants to, just get a whiff of what he does, take his course. But he's a great guy, and everything went well. I'm still involved with the company. Google's kind of clamped down on some of the ways affiliates can promote his company's offer because it's we really hit it hardcore. But I could go into that towards the end. I could go into that in more detail at the end of it.
Awesome. So, if you don't mind sharing, John, can you tell me what you're doing, what the offer is that you're promoting on Facebook, and some of the stuff that you're doing on Facebook at the moment?
Sure. So, I just send them the link, bedroomguardian.com. But what we're doing is it's a bedbug eradication kit. What I'm going to be talking about today, really weird niche. Bedbug eradication kits that the CPA is, my revenue, what I make is higher, obviously. CPA for affiliates is $26, but the cost to consumer is $9. So consumers only pay $9. It's a rebuild product, and they're like little ant traps that have, they're like weird pheromones that attract bed bugs, and kill them all. Basically, it just kills all the bed bugs. And the great thing about this product is bed bugs are pretty prevalent. It's an extremely big pain point. It's an extremely urgent pain point. And how we promote it is we send them to an advertorial. If you could, I'd actually like to send them the advertorial just so people understand what we're talking about here.
Yep.
It's bedroomguardian.com _FB. crestani.php. Just going to post that in here. And the advertorial says there's a bed bug epidemic. And basically, you know, people then, we send them to our offer page. So we're using advertorial to our offer, and it works extremely well. The funnel has been tested over the last 2 years. We've been testing it, and it's it's just a big pick. Oh, yeah.
Hold on, mate.
But
sorry.
yeah. And it works great on both Facebook and Netflix. As I said, we're sending over the last year or 2 years, we've been averaging about 30,000 AdWords and 30 a month on. But we just started really cracking Facebook, and we're spending about 30.
That's so cool. So, so do you mind taking us inside your account and just showing us sort of how it all works, John? Like just sort of from start to finish?
Yeah, that's the bread and butter. I mean, this is where the magic happens. So I'm going to throw you guys on screen share. And screen share.
It's just while you're doing that too, John, it's quite interesting. I guess some people think that all the money is in make money online and dating advice and all the super competitive niches, but I hadn't even until you'd mentioned bed bugs. I didn't even know that would be a niche that you could make serious money in. So it's
you'd be surprised at the number. Can you see my screen? You can also see my. Oh, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, I'm gonna move real quick to plug in my laptop.
You're right.
Okay, so. Hold on.
You're right, mate.
Okay. No, I just needed to plug it into the power outlet. Okay, so you guys see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, here's a bit inside my account. You can see my spend here for the last couple days, and yeah. So let's go into my actual account. So first, let me see. I just want to see what I'm going to go over. Lookalikes. So first, I'll go over how to get super high CTRs. Actually, I'll go over how to get super high CTRs. So first, if we go in here, let's check out some of my ads. And so you'll see here are my ads that are running. Let's check the data out. And as you'll see, I mean, just looking at this is actually a campaign I got working really recently. I just cracked. I've been working really hard on Facebook, and you'll see I just cracked the nut on this. So this is actually extremely time relevant. This is this is knowledge that is literally happening right now. And one thing you'll notice is, let's go into my ads. I have pretty broad targeting. So these are my click-through rates. You'll see 7% with over 12,000 clicks, 4%, 3%, 5%, another 7% ad. And let's check it out.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. So yeah.
Just so, I mean, I imagine, John, a lot of people on the call, probably some people have got experience with Facebook advertising, but most people, I guess, know that it's quite hard to get decent click-through rates on Facebook if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, I don't know what the average is, but I know it's a lot less than 7%.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't even expecting seeing 7%. Yeah, you'll see my top ads are awesome.
Yeah.
Let's check out backbites. So this ad got disapproved retroactively, but I just launched new ads. There's no And a problem happened with my audience list. That's why the potential audience for this somehow dropped down. But I'll go into custom audiences. So you kind of see one thing you might notice if you're adept is I'm using a fan page, and we'll go into that in a second. But first, I'm going to address how I get high click-through. This is a small part of it. First, you'll see it says news, so it seems relevant. The second thing is you'll see that the image is, I mean, I'm picking images that incite emotions. You're looking at a woman who has her back all bit up by bed bugs. I'm also using an image of my target audience. So I'm using an image of my target audience in pain. And my target audience is about a 45 to 55-year-old female that is, a poor American female, and typically those people are overweight. So you'll notice this is, overweight, and I don't even use that much copy. I just said bed bugs are shutting down businesses and being found at local movie theaters and homes. Notice I'm not using a crazy call to action here even, because I'm sending them to a news article. So I don't want it to seem salesy, because I'm trying to go in under the radar, right? If I was sending it directly to an offer page, I would try a stronger call to action, and those are examples of things I would split test. Once again, don't ever expect you're going to get things right the first time. If you take that magic pill mentality, you're going to fail. You're never going to work. You're always going to work for a corporation, and you'll never have freedom. You're going to fail. Get over yourself. Get over your ego, because testing is part of the process. Sorry to be harsh, but that's the main reason why CPG.
No, that makes sense, John. I remember reading an interview. This is, I think, my first exposure to paid advertising with Mike Geary, and he was talking about how he runs I think it's 2,000 or 3,000 clicks on an ad or on an ad or an offer or whatever it is, just so I can get enough data to see what's going on. And he talked about how he always expects to lose money when he's doing paid advertising the first time round until he's, I guess, kind of figured out what works.
I use the word fail because it's hardcore and it makes people feel bad, but it's supposed to be an emotional word, because you have to expect that.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. So let's check out this ad. Another thing is, so I just used, notice I'm just using headline, subheadline, learn more. Nothing too crazy here. This is a clicks to website campaign. Here's what, so I'm also going to go into my massive, so this is what I call, this is another tactic. It's a way to create massive social proof, and you'll notice by doing these feedback, these sponsored posts, you get likes, and when you create something that seems like news, what you're actually doing is you're manufacturing virality. If you make it seem like news, if you don't make it seem like an ad, you're actually creating something that people want to share. If you wrote a good ad, people will want to share it if it seems like news. And that's great for me because you'll see this has 950 shares over the last day or two. Okay?
That's insane.
Yeah, so let's also check out the comments. I want to show people what the comments are because the comments add social proof. So if somebody for instance, if somebody clicks on the ad, they go to my website. Exclusive, massive bedbug epidemic hits Colombia, because that's where I am right now. But it'll say hits whatever country the person's in. So let's say I click on the comments though, right? One thing you'll notice is that I've actually, on my post, I've hidden comments that are inconducive to the overall conversation, that take people's mind off the fact that bed bugs are disgusting and they need to be eradicated, and you need to buy this product. So I actually go through the comments every once in a while, and I actually will hide comments where people are saying, hey, you know, something along the lines of, hey, here's a here's a natural remedy to eliminate bed bugs from your household. Something that contradicts my own offer. Or I'll go in and
Yeah,
if somebody says, hey, the only way, if somebody says like this woman is like all caps talking about some black woman is stupid, this is inconducive. There's some other comments where people said, yeah, that's because people allow all these illegal immigrants into America. That's why they're bed bugs, which is
yeah,
just completely ridiculous, and it's
yeah, yeah,
off topic. So I hide all of those comments for the general public so that people are always on point and saying, ooh, that's gross, and it just drives home the pain. And it's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
And
That's
makes
such
that
that's
even
such an interesting approach, John, because like, just from all the Facebook ads that I see and stuff like that, it's a lot of people seem to take the exact opposite approach. They go all salesy, and then they end up with all these comments of people saying, "Oh, you're just a spammer," you know. um, and yeah, I mean, your approach seems to be the exact opposite. You're making it look like a news article. Um, and it's something that would possibly go viral naturally anyway, almost.
and yeah, I'm not saying this is the only approach to make things work by any
No.
means, but
Yeah,
as you see, 950 shares. People aren't going to share a salesy. I know lots of the people on this webinar from the Warrior Forum, and you're probably friends with a lot of these guys who say, you know, exclusive webinar. It's very salesy kind of Facebook posts and whatnot. Um, and that can work. That can work. It has its time and place. But in my case, I'm selling consumer products, and I want people to share. The more people that share, the less I have to pay for clicks even. And what's funny is people who share it will have their friends share it, and if you create a really good ad, you can get way even more views. And that's fantastic. It's all fun.
so this
Make
is
sense?
the campaign. This is the campaign that you're making $1,000 a day with. Is that right?
Yes, yes. So I'm spending 1,000. I'm spending about $1,000 a day.
Wow, that's insane.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, and you'll see just you get really cheap clicks. I tested a lot of different pictures. I tested a lot of different. I tested pictures of actual bed bugs. Um, and just from my tests, I found that pictures of the actual bites on people's backs were the were the best way to drive home that pain of you know of people were afraid to go to sleep at night, so they'd want to click on my ad to find out what product I have to offer.
Okay, so if say let's someone's running
Oh, and here
you
are my
know
stats. Here are my stats
yeah,
for running these campaigns. So
wow,
so I spent um, you can see I spent $476 today, and let me just you know what, the report's going to update. Oh, this is not. Yeah, I just have to check it. But yeah, basically it's about 50% profitable.
wow. So, John, take me through your whole process. Like, so if someone's on the call and they're wanting to promote like a weight loss offer, or maybe as an affiliate or something like that, or even like a make money online offer, what
Okay.
what would you recommend in terms of like the whole process that someone should go through from start to finish? Obviously, it's not we don't have the time to cover like a whole pay-per-click course on Facebook advertising, but how would you approach it? Or how do you approach brand new campaigns? What's your mentality?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Let's find a person or something like that, and let's find I'm just going to find a random offer.
By the way, John, because you've while you're doing this, because you've got so much experience with paid advertising, what advice do you have for people who aren't sure what offers to promote? Like, do you think that there's certain niches that you recommend that people should stick with, or?
No, but I recommend whatever niche you do choose. Make sure there are people making money in it. Make sure there are at least 5 people. If you go with an affiliate program, make sure that there are at least 3 people making over $10,000 a month with that program. Okay, at least a few people making money from that program, just so you know. Okay, it has solid conversion rates.
Okay, that makes sense.
Another thing is, when you pick an offer, don't spend more than a day trying to pick an offer. And the third thing is, whatever offer you pick, don't jump around to any other offer. Again, I'll repeat, don't jump around to any other offer. The main reason people fail is because they make up reasons for why they need to try something else.
That's true.
People get what's called entrepreneur or wannabe-preneur-itis, and that's where they jump around from thing to thing, from traffic source to traffic source, from offer to offer, without any direction, without any rhyme or reason. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter where you start. As long as you know there are people that are promoting the offer profitably, and there are traffic sources which these people are promoting it on. If I know that people are promoting Garcinia Cambogia, for instance, on Facebook profitably, which is a weight loss offer, I'm going to try to advertise Garcinia Cambogia on Facebook, and I'm not going to stop until I get it working, for instance.
That makes sense.
Okay.
So, yeah, because I mean, that's a huge problem with internet marketing, like you're saying, bouncing around from one offer to a next. So you're saying that as a starting point, if you're serious about making a ton of money with paid traffic, just find something where the vendor can prove that that he or she has affiliates that are making money, at least 3 affiliates making 10 grand a month, and they're using a scalable traffic source.
Exactly. And that is, that's huge. That's it though. But I would say the main thing is, make sure it's working, and really, once you pick something, make sure you stick with it. If you don't stick with it, you're failing from the start. You are failing from the start. You're always going to be an employee because you can't create direction for yourself. And if you can't stick with something, what you need to do is you need to actually, read a book, meditate, or go on a vacation, or do whatever you need to do, break up with your girlfriend, or whatever the heck it is, so you can get to that place in your life where you can focus on making something good and stop making excuses. And that's the biggest advice I can give people. So, do you want me to create an ad for our campaign? And can I pause my? Can I? I'm actually.
It's actually quite amazing what you're talking about there. Because so many people do it. So you're saying that if someone's at the point now where they're struggling, they're bouncing from one thing.
Did I take my screen? Can people see my screen anymore?
Yeah. Actually, no. We can't see your screen.
Yeah, I just want to grab. I'm logging into another offer, in an offer I promote, and I'm just going to grab a link real quick. I just don't want to go inside that account, but I'm actually going to create a Facebook campaign for it live right now, as we speak, actually. And
awesome.
I want people to, yeah.
Awesome. So basically, if someone's struggling, if someone's not making any money whatsoever, or they've been losing money, um, they've kind of bounced from one course to another, as a lot of people do in internet marketing. The key is they've got to stop, they've got to sit down, they've got to get serious, and they've got to stop bouncing around from one thing to another. They've got to find something that's proven to work, and then they've just got to stick with it until they make it work.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like I showed in my example with the flyers. Putting flyers um, around my college campus. There was never any point where I thought, oh, what if this doesn't work? I was actually doing an unproven traffic source, or an unproven offer, because I created my own offer, just selling study guides, and I was using a traffic source nobody was using. I just was doing my own thing, but there was never any doubt in my mind whether or not it was going to work, because I knew. I mean, that was just sheer stupidity. I was completely. Hold on one second. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there was not a doubt in my mind of whether that would work, because it was almost like my own inner confidence. I knew what I had was the bee's knees, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to sell it, and I never gave up. I just never gave up, even though I never even thought of the possibility of failure. Let me get this. Okay, I'm just getting a link, and I'm going to.
Just while we're on the subject, John, because I know that there's a lot of people that mess around with all these kind of like weird methods, like creating YouTube videos, ranking them on Google, like writing articles, or just whatever the flavor of the month kind of method is. But it just seems to me that paid traffic is where it's at. Running paid traffic to offers that convert, that's how you're going to build a real business. Is that a fair comment?
Yes, I would 100% agree. It's controllable. The only problem is that sometimes you are at the whims of, sometimes traffic sources don't always work, but I mean, or sometimes you have hard times getting ads approved, but it just weeds out the weak who aren't willing to stick with things. Because the fact of the matter is, sometimes ad networks will disapprove ads, and that's fine, because people, most 90%, 99% of people are quitters, and it just weeds out the quitters, because I'm the guy who's launching 20 campaigns a day, and if I had my ads disapproved 20 times, I just keep launching more until I finally did. It's that's the fact of the matter. Most people are quitters, and the reason why people like me make it work and do this full time is because there isn't any other option in my mind. Things how
You
things
just got
work.
to make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. John, I just wanted to ask you as well, just a question that came to mind.
Sure.
Do you think it's better, like, obviously it's possible to make a lot of money with paid traffic as an affiliate, but do you think it's better to own your own offers, or just find stuff that's already converting that pays really well and just run paid traffic as an affiliate?
Um, yeah, eventually I think the end game is when and this is kind of a recent mentality development, but I think the end game is ultimately owning an offer is great. If you have either great relationships with other affiliates, if you're a master marketer that's making six figures a month or whatever, because what you're and even legitimate offers, let's say public storage company, right? You do lead generation for your own public storage company, because you end up creating an asset. I'm creating an income right now. I'm what you call a head of high earning, not rich yet, because I'm making money, but I don't have assets. Uh, the biggest, the ultimately when you can have a legitimate, like a very legitimate company and all that stuff, you end up creating an asset, let's say, that makes you, that not only makes you, that 6-7 figure income, but it also, whether, regardless of that, it's worth 7 figures plus, 7, 8 figures at the end of the day, because you not only created income, but you created an asset. We're talking
So
about
you
creating
think
income here. That's the next level.
Yeah.
I would say if anybody's getting their start in marketing, don't try to create your own offer. I mean, you're going to need to, lots of people are just struggling to make their first $10,000 with internet marketing, which is ridiculous. If you can't make $10,000 a month with internet marketing, you're so far away from ready to owning your own offer. It's ridiculous.
So you recommend that if someone's struggling or someone's just getting started, start as an affiliate and start with paid traffic. Again, what we talked about, find an offer that converts and just stick with it until you make it work, until you get to that 10K per month level.
Yep.
Or you scale it out to the point where you just can't make any more money from that offer.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then just sort of keep going. Find another offer, other traffic sources, etc., etc., etc.
Exactly. And once people have an understanding of that, I'd say, yeah, maybe you're ready to, maybe you're ready to actually create your own. Okay, so I'm just going to use.
Because you've got to learn about. You've got to learn about.
Forex. I'm going to create ads here. Let me add this, and I'm going to do a Forex. I'm actually going to show people some of the meat and potatoes. Select a window to show in the video call. You can see my. Okay, you can see my Facebook account,
right? Yes, I can now.
Okay. Is the audio okay? Or is there some chat?
I can hear some people talking in the background.
Okay. Let me move. Okay, is this better?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let me just get situated. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new campaign. And to do that, first of all, I'm going to go into, trying to think how to target this. So let's just do this real quick. And I'm sorry, I'm thinking about how I should target this right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. You go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to create a campaign for Forex. I'm going to do clicks to website. I'm actually going to send them to this URL, which is how to open a Forex account. It's just a straight sign-up page for a Forex account. And this is actually not. Let me send them to my website. Forex trading platforms. And so this is actually a website I created to sell Forex. And you'll notice it's a fake blog. So I created a fake blog around, the best and the worst Forex brokers. I receive about $250 per customer I sign up to their platform, as well as about $1,000 residual income if the person stays on. Or as usually the person does. On average, I'll make an extra $1,000. So I'll make on average about $1,250 per person I sign up. So, but it's very hard to get these sorts of people. So this long blog I wrote to sell the actual person. And I'm not going to go into the mentality of the blogs I create because it's there's a lot of stuff to make the surface there.
Okay.
So Forex trading platform workers. Voila. And what I'm actually going to do is, let me want to figure out how to do this. So to create an ad, I'll say, let's say Forex chart, and I'll actually say, okay, I go to Google Images, and I just look at this image, right? And I want people to, I want to get some really good looking images in here that show, you know, what looks like I'm making a lot of money, or what looks like a really cool trend. I just looked up Forex charts, right? I'll look at Forex money. And I want to see, Facebook doesn't like biz ops, so I'm gonna try to make this a little stuff Forex living.
Do you ever worry, John, about like using copyrighted images and stuff like that?
No,
Like getting sued or something? I don't know.
no. People make the fact of the matter is people make up excuses to you know, to not be where they're at in life, or to not do what they owe their family, or to not, you know, uh, what you have to ask yourself, what's more important? Is it your family? Is it your lifestyle? Is it living out life on your own terms, or is it these manufactured, you know, are you manufacturing other ideas? Of course, you could say, if you're going to worry about every little thing, if you're going to say, hey, well, I'm going to try to copyright an image before I use it or whatnot, you're going to create so many hurdles for yourself. I just don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a couple different images, and I'm going to use a couple different images. Open. So it's going to take a second to load. I'll just upload one or two images here, just because it does take some time to load these images off. And I'm going to save images. Just receive one.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about click-through rates, John. I've heard some of the guys that do like big, as far as I'm aware, that do big media buys and stuff, or just seem to have a lot of experience with paid traffic. They'll say that, you know, getting it. Obviously, everyone wants high click-through rates, but sometimes getting a high click-through rate doesn't actually mean that you're going to get a high conversion rate.
Okay.
Is that a fair comment? Just the reason I say that is, say for example, if someone's using images of, like, you know, chicks in bikinis or whatever on their Facebook ads, and you know all these guys are clicking on it as a result or whatever, but then they're saying that the actual offer isn't really consistent with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you always want the offer and the images to be congruent with each other. So
Yeah.
that's why if you look at what I'm doing, I'm finding images that are similar to my offer. I'm trying to promote a Forex program, and I'm finding Forex charts. So I'm trying two things. One is I'm getting images of the actual product itself, which is like a Forex chart. I think that fairly represents what we're talking about there. The second thing is I'm finding images of our customer avatar, and so I'm just saving a couple images, and let's go into Facebook. So I'm going to use two images of Forex chart. Like 3 images in a Forex chart. And let's go. And then I'm going to use 3 images of an actual customer avatar. So notice I'm doing a split test here. And notice I'm even using a picture of the United cat here. That's horrible, right? Shouldn't be, like I shouldn't be doing that. So, no, because maybe just not to turn anybody off. How easy is it? So I have 3 Forex charts, and I have 3 images of the actual, like of a Forex trader. Notice some of them I've combined the images. So you have Forex trader next to his Forex charts, a Forex trader next to his computer Forex programs, and hopefully this is going to, I'm going to see what works out here. I'm going to figure out from these images what people click on the most. Next, I'm going to choose a Facebook page. So notice, look at all these Facebook pages I have. This is a tactic I didn't really get into yet, but basically all of my Facebook pages are created from, I use my pages so that they aren't the name of the product. It isn't like Forex program, buy this Forex program. I don't want people to think it's a product. I don't want Facebook to think it's a product. Facebook actually approves ads much easier if they think it's if they think it's just if they think it's just a regular like community page. So I'll just use this page, debt ceiling survival. Right. I will and let's create so what we'll want to do is we'll want to create a cool, catchy headline. Forex trader let's say how many pro for I'll just say top 10 Forex platforms. This is actually a really weak headline. What I would do is I'd spend quite a bit of time brainstorming what a good headline is. Maybe top Forex trading, top Forex trading software. I'm trying to think. Obviously saw my other ad which said bedbug epidemic hits United States or something. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So do you normally come up with sort of like 10 to 20 headlines until you pick sort of 4 or 5 that you like, or what's your process?
Trader reviews, Forex, platforms, Forex trader, and so I'm just going to try this out. That's it. Top 10 trading platforms. Just going to see how this works out. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at, Quantcast. So next we want to find out who's our audience, what demographics are they. So I'm going to go to Quantcast, and since I already know a couple of the sites in this niche, I'm going to actually just type them in and see what sort of demographics they say they have. So eToro doesn't have any. Let's look at Easy Forex. Easy Forex doesn't have any. Let's see, Iron FX. Okay, they don't have any. So we're gonna keep typing in sites in podcast until we get some company with that, which has a and let's see. So I'm just gonna type in Forex and see if there are any sites that show up. So Forex. And so we're just going to we're going to find something that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of these sites which has actual profiles so I can get kind of an idea of what the demographics are.
I did notice in the past, Quantcast doesn't seem to have a lot of sites in there, compared to Alexa and things like that.
Compared to what?
Alexa.
Okay. Okay, here's one. So forexnews.com, great. So what we're seeing is, oh my God, the audience is heavily male. No big surprise there. The audience is, let's just say 30 plus. Obviously high income, college educated, and Asian. There's something interesting. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to, they're interested in science, nature, trading, all that stuff. So here's some interesting stuff. It skews heavily Asian. That's not saying most of the people are Asian, but just, it skews twice the amount Asian. So
Yeah.
there's a way we can segment out Asian traders that would be following. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go 30 plus. I'm going to do men only. I'm going to do, obviously I could in Chinese, and I would segment my audience, to 200,000 people, but I don't think that's, I still don't think that's precise. I want about 1 million person audience. So let's type in Forex signal. And InstaForex. That's cool. I've heard of InstaForex before. So, I'm just gonna have a couple more precise interests. And one of the things I've actually gotten into now is I like MetaTrader 4, binary option, FXCM. Let's see what my audience is now. 76,000 people. Nice. Should go up after this. 200,000. This isn't that bad. eToro, FX Street. Saxo Bank is a big forex trading. So I'm just getting a lot of ideas for, let's say 440,000 people. That's fine. It's a big enough audience. UK difference. I just like bigger audiences. I usually like to get things out of there. So I'll just keep going until I get New Zealand, because these companies accept people from everywhere. So, Australia. So now I have about 1 million people. And notice they're saying, okay, look, you're fairly specific, blah, 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 that's all good. And what I want to do is 30 plus year old schedule. I'll just say I want to spend about $50 a day. and cancel. Um, then let's say I want to massively successful forex trader reviews top platforms to make to trade, analyze, and make crazy money. Then I'll say learn more. Okay. These are what my ads will look like. Okay.
So that seems a little more salesy than the bedbug ad, but I guess there's kind of no, you kind of have to be a little bit like that in this niche just because of the nature of the niche.
Yep. Yep. So I'm you know what, I'd probably think harder to try to find something less salesy over time. But obviously I just don't have time right now. I'm have to doing
No.
this on the fly. So
No.
what I'm actually, and one more thing is, so one thing I just noticed is you have this forex, this forex trader isn't showing up the way I want him to show up. Notice how these charts are taking up this entire space. These
Yeah.
forex traders are not, so I need to find an image that's more horizontal.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to do that. And can I just get some feedback? Is this helping anybody right now? Is this format working for people? If you can get some, if you can get people to respond, I'd be really interested.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to ask
People have
questions,
questions.
so just let us know as well. John was just asking if you can give me a feedback on if this is helpful, if you found the webinar helpful. So if you just want to pop a question into the question box, that'd be really cool. I'm not 100% sure how it works with how we've set up the Hangout. I think if you ask a question just below the video, that will go through.
Okay. So, and so what I'm doing is I'm uploading some images of some more traders so I can get that horizontal image going here. Notice how I selected my interest. Notice how I selected my demographics. Notice how I capped my budget. There are other techniques I use to go into Facebook, obviously, but I just don't have time to cover everything. That's doing desktop news feed, as you guys see. Okay, great. See this image? That's baller. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the sort of stuff we want.
Yeah.
That's where the money is.
So basically, someone kind of doing what it is that you're promoting, or someone that's got something to do with what it is that you're promoting.
But
So with the images, you're trying to ideally get a picture of someone in the process of doing whatever it is that you're promoting, if possible.
exactly. So notice the two types of images I would use is either the product or the customer avatar. The product is just like a screenshots of forex charts. That's what the product looks like. It's forex chart type of stuff. The person is going to be this 30 to 60-year-old forex trader, and the product and the person together is going to be a 30 to 60-year-old forex trader actually looking at forex charts. Make sense?
Yeah, that does.
So I like I would try, ideally what I would try is I try a couple images that are forex charts, a couple images that are just like a picture of like a 60-year-old dude, and just in it like a happy 60-year-old dude, maybe because he's super rich, and a picture of that a happy custom person forex trader on his computer. And I would try a lot of different angles. I would try a set. I'm going after the greed angle right now. Right now, I'm going after greed. I'm saying, look, here are the top. I'm figuring people are already familiar with Forex, and I'm figuring out. I want to say, I can't say make money online, so I'm saying the top 10, trading platforms. I'll say the top. Say top FX trading platform. Use top platform. Okay. Top massively successful Forex trader. Let's say reveals. Reveals. That's a little. Okay, so you guys see our ads now? Is everybody on point? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to launch this ad now. I'm actually going to. Is that for Canada? Okay, I'm going to do $50 per day. I'm going to cap it at 25. And I'm going to place an order. So what I did is I just created a new campaign. We should have, the rest of the ads should be loaded. But basically what we just did was we created a new campaign for Forex trading. You'll see this. This is showing the people in these countries, 30 and older, who are interested in these sorts of, Forex-related activities. Hopefully this works. We'll see. But it'll be a good test nonetheless.
So with your demographic research as well, John, you saw that obviously there was a lot of interest with Asian people. Do you think that there's a way to target those people, or?
Not at the moment. I mean, it's easy to target Asian people. You like put in stuff like noodles, or interested in miso soup, or interested in whatever. But it's harder. You can find ways to target Asian people, but not necessarily Asian traders. What we're most interested in is people who are interested in trading. And if people tend to be interested in trading, it's going to tend to be Asian anyways. So.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense? If
it does.
If I found a way to target Asians, it doesn't. It's targeting people who are interested in Forex. By its very nature, is going to get me people that tend to be Asian. But it's not as much so going to be the case the other way around. It's going to be too broad the other way around.
Right. So with the campaign that you've created, basically you're just going to let it run for 7 days or whatever, see what images are getting the best clicks, and then just refine it from there, or?
Exactly. I'm going to see what's getting good click-through rate, and I'm going to optimize my campaign based on that. I'm going to see what images are clicking. Obviously I have to place a conversion pixel on the back end, but I'm going to see which images are getting the most clicks, and what ads are sending conversions, and I'm just going to optimize based on, okay, let's say I sent, this is an expensive place to test, but I'm going to say I spent $100 worth of clicks. Am I getting any conversions? If I'm not, I'm going to cut it. If I'm not getting comments or shares on my ads, I'm going to probably cut it because I want to make sure there's a lot of engagement on my ads. If people aren't connecting on a personal level with my ads, it means I'm not writing my ads correctly. Premierly, I should have my ads written, or my ads make people want to create a conversation around it. People should want to if I wrote a good ad, people are going to want to comment on it. People are going to go and fucking share it with their friends. People are going to do all these things you would expect people to do. If they found something, if they came across something interesting. So those are all factors I'm looking at in this campaign. It's just, and I'm going to launch until I optimize the shit out of these ads and really get more people, more money.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, once you sort of like, do you go through a process, John, where okay, so you see that 2 images out of the 6 or whatever are getting the best click-through rates, and then do you cut the ones, obviously cut the ones that aren't getting the best clicks, and then replace them with other images to see if you can find anything that will beat your 2 winners, or do you just take the 2 winners and then start split testing titles and subtitles, or what's your process?
So, in the case of this campaign, I've been scaling it. One thing I've done is you'll notice my my original ads were 21 plus year old. Well, my original ads, if we go back, were actual 21 to 60-year-old women, right? And they used a mix of targeting. They used bed bugs and people with bed bug bites and whatnot. How it evolved was what I did was I started seeing something that was working, and I opened up targeting. So I went to 21-year-old plus, and I said, okay, I'm just going to uncap the age. Maybe people 60 years older want to use the ads. What I found very quickly was we're going to go into my reports here, and we're going to see the conversion tracking is not completely correct within Facebook right now. There's a little bit of a lag, but let's check out so I created this report. And what we'll see is, that, let's look at all days. Let's edit columns. Look at the page. Save columns. Boom. So what we'll see is that 65 plus actually has the lowest cost per conversion. So keep in mind this is all a little off. So the cost per conversion is actually lower, but it has a highest click-through rate. But we weren't even advertising on this segment of the population. So what I did was I opened up targeting. Once I realized that 65 plus people just convert like crazy, before this was even said, what I noticed was there was a trend. Click-through rate went up the older people were. So that was why I decided, okay, hey, more people click on my ads the older they get. Why not advertise to people who are really old, 65 plus? I started doing that. I saw cheapest conversions in the campaign. So that was one thing that influenced my targeting.
It kind of makes sense just from a common sense point of view, because I guess the younger people are more tech savvy, they're more aware of advertising and all that kind of stuff. Older people, not so tech savvy, they see an ad, oh, my bed bugs can all be killed. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, but you have to understand it doesn't. Yes, there are certain things that it doesn't, old or young, there are certain things that people understand is advertising. For a 65 plus year old person, they're going to be more familiar with, let's say, what a door-to-door salesperson is than maybe if somebody comes in and says, hey, look, I am an insurance adjuster, and I needed to talk to you about your housing insurance policy. Somebody that's 65-year-old plus is going to know that better than a younger person. They're going to say, hey, no, I don't want, I know you're trying to sell me insurance, I don't want that. Whereas a younger person might think, oh, this person is some weird sort of insurance authority, and I'm not familiar with that, because people don't do as much door-to-door sales anymore for insurance. So a younger person might be a little more thrown off than an older person by that. The point is, it's all cultural dialogue. What are people used to? Younger people in Thailand might not know what that is. It's just what people are accustomed to. Every person is accustomed to something. So give them something that they're not going to immediately say is advertising, and you'll be cool. Okay.
That makes sense.
Gender. I realize men don't work. That was another thing. So one thing you'll notice is I opened up some of my other ads to males. Shoot, let's go back to whatever. I opened up some of my campaigns to males recently just to see how they convert. As we see, they're converting like shite. They're getting lower click-through rate, lower conversion rate, and it's costing me more money than it's worth to advertise to males. Still, it's something I test. Makes sense?
So you're basically looking for scale. You just want to say, okay, there's more traffic here if I target males. Let's just see if it works. If it does, great. We'll scale it more. If it doesn't, well, at least you know.
Exactly. I'm just trying to get more and more and more traffic.
Yeah.
And once I get something that's working, I'm looking for more traffic. So this doesn't work. I'm gonna let this test run for a little more until it hits about $100, and then I'm gonna cut the ads that allow males in them. But this is a test, and as I said, if it works, more people for me to advertise to, more money. If it doesn't, less people to advertise to, not as much money, but I'll figure out another way.
So the thing that I've kind of learned about paid traffic, John, and correct me if this is wrong, but you're guaranteed a loser before you find a winner. Is that a fair comment?
Of course, and you have to not be afraid of failing. Again, you're going to fail. You're going to make your parents disappointed in you because you're going to lose money on this, or your spouse, or whatever. So get over yourself, because I see that's the biggest thing holding people back, is that they don't want to do anything. They want to learn everything before they actually take action. And what you should be doing is, I love forums. I get sucked into this too. I'm a big fan of learning. I try to learn every day. I try to be on the internet forums that I frequent every day, but you have to learn by doing ultimately. If you haven't launched a campaign, you're still looking for a magic pill. You're never going to find it. It's never going to happen. We just got to keep launching campaigns. Let me go get my charger real quick.
Yep.
One thing I'd like, just for anybody listening, if you could, just give some feedback so far. I like to hear comments. If this has been helpful and what I can talk about in the future. I know I'm spending a lot of time on certain elements of Facebook. Obviously, there are a ton of ways. I've been doing this for years. There are tons of ways to do it. But what more you would like to see in regards to Facebook advertising, how you liked it, Marcus, you can give them the link to your to the WSO page, just so people can leave comments about what they thought. That'd be great. And yeah, just I can't see any chat, so I don't know if people are
No,
saying
I think what's happening, John, is there must be a problem with the question and answer thing, or people aren't really sure of how to use it. So what I'll do is I'll go
post give them the link to comment in the actual WSO. I'm gonna run and get my charger for my computer.
Yeah,
1 second.
you're cool, mate. Okay, so what I recommend that everyone does is I'll give you a link. So this is my screen that you should be seeing. So what I want you to do is go to marcusmclean.com/WSO. So that's Marcus McLean, MarcusMaclean.com/WSO, and that will redirect to my thread on the Warrior Forum. So if you've got any feedback for the webinar so far, just leave a comment on the thread. So if you want John to talk about anything else in terms of Facebook advertising, or how to pick an offer, or just whatever it is that you want feedback on,
how's it going?
then just leave a comment here. And
all right, back.
Yeah, you're good, mate.
Marcus?
Yes. Hello.
Marcus?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Marcus?
Yeah, hello.
Hello?
I can hear you. It seems that you can't hear me.
Marcus?
Yeah, hello.
Marcus?
Hello.
Hey, sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, let's do this. So,
Cool. So I've just
what feedback do people have? Because I really want to, I really need to hear what people are saying, what people want to hear, talk about, and what the feedback is so far.
So I've just told people to comment on. I can see that people are watching the video, John. So I've just told people to comment on the Warrior Forum thread. So I'm just waiting for questions to come through. But just bear in mind as well, John, that there's that lag with the video. So what we're talking about now, people may not see for a couple of minutes.
Okay. Okay. And
so one question that I had for you in the meantime, John, is because I imagine that there's a lot of people out there, like we're talking about, losing money before you find a winner, and you're probably going to have campaigns where you might not make anything or whatever. So there's probably a lot of people out there that don't have a lot of money and they're a little bit nervous about losing money, and obviously you've got to get over that money because you've got to spend money to make money. But what advice would you have for people who are just at a very basic level, who are just getting started?
Launch ads.
Yeah.
Launch ads. Yeah. Just start setting up campaigns. Stop there. It's have a program. Like subscribe. For instance, you do monthly webinars. That's great. Subscribe to that, but that's it. Just take time to implement as much as possible. Doesn't matter if you fail. Stop being nervous. Stop being anxious. Stop being stressed out. Those are all words for being fearful. Those are all words for being afraid. Those are all words for saying that, being afraid that you're not good enough. Stop thinking that. Be confident. Start launching campaigns. And you'll figure stuff out. It's just a trial and error process. It's like playing basketball. You're not, there's no, ask any professional athlete how many books he read, ask any professional athlete what it takes to be good at this sport, and what they're going to tell you is practice, practice, practice. Play as often as you can. Having a coach and being coached is important, but think about a professional football or rugby game. How often is the player speaking to the coach, and how often is the player actually launching campaigns or making plays or whatever? I'd say it's 90-10, maybe 95%. 90% of the time they're on the field doing their job. 5 to 10% they're actually learning. That's how it needs to be in marketing too. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you've got to constantly learn. You need to surround yourself with people who are already doing what you're doing, who can mentor you and coach you, all that kind of stuff.
You need to do that. You need to find a good coach. And like what you're doing offers people the perfect opportunity to do that. But you need to be on the field as much as possible. I don't know how to say that, but
you need to be in the game.
I just launched ad campaigns right now. Look, all my ads are active, right? This is a new test. Right? I just launched ad campaigns, and hopefully I start getting some clicks soon. That just happened. That's how fast this is. There's no reason why you shouldn't be launching ads constantly and figuring out what works and what doesn't.
So, I know that obviously it's a process of testing, and we're starting to get questions through, John, so I'll get to that in 1 second. But just before this gets out of my mind, obviously it's a process of testing and measuring, and there's not going to be a ballpark figure, but what do you think is a sensible amount of money to be spending on paid advertising in terms of what you're getting back once you've found a winning campaign?
I'd say 5 to 10 times. I'd say 10 times CPA. So let's say you're going to make, for Bedroom Garden, you're going to make $26. You're going to make $26 a sale. I'd say be willing to spend $260.
Wow. Are you saying you're willing to spend $260 to acquire the customer, or just for testing?
For testing, to see
Yeah.
if I don't get any, if I get one sale, or if I get 0 sales, or if I get 1 sale, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop advertising that I know something's wrong with my advertising. If I get 2 to 3 sales, I'm going to see if I might run it a little longer and see if I can find out any trends. What's working and what's not. If I get more than that, I'm just going to say, oh, let's say I spent $260. I'll say, oh, great. I know that females buy this product more often than males. I know older people buy this product more often, and I know pictures of bed bugs biting people work better than pictures of happy families, for instance, or whatever I decided to test. And I'm going to get rid of everything else, and I'm just going to focus on that stuff. And I'm going to figure out more and more and more as I go along. And instead of spending $260 to make 3 sales, I'm going to spend $260 to make 15 sales.
Okay.
Then I'm going to figure out what was working and what wasn't working. I'm just going to expand.
Awesome. So, John, we're getting some questions coming through, so we'll get to those. So someone has asked here, do you always send traffic to review sites, or do you send it straight to an offer page sometimes?
I definitely send straight to an offer page sometimes. I'd say ClickBank products have really great sales pages with great copy, and I almost always test. In case of Bedroom Guardian, we actually have we have the option that you can actually run I have a cloaker on my side, and the link I have prepared for you is actually cloaked. It's a cloaked Facebook link ready for anybody to run. So instead of having to pay, $3,000 a month for a cloaking software, for the top cloaking software, you're going to be able to just use mine and run that offer directly to the advertorial page. In regards to direct linking, I like to direct link ClickBank products. I like to direct link mobile apps. I like to direct link. I usually almost always try direct linking on offers just to see if it works. Yeah, I'd say about a fourth of the offers I run into.
Interesting. Toki's also asked, I hope I've pronounced your name right there, what would be the best CPA companies to work with?
Ones that have lots of affiliates making money.
Can you say that again, John? I didn't quite hear that.
Companies where their affiliates making money with them. As I said, there should be 3 affiliates making over $10,000 a month.
Okay. Now, another question that comes to mind for me in that case is, when you approach these CPA companies, are they actually willing to share with you that information, and can you trust them? So, in other words, if you see an offer that looks good,
I would say if you want to give people the link to my if you want to give people the link to my affiliate network, which is just basically where you can run Bedroom Guardian and one other offer I own. We have lots of trainings for affiliates, just on how to run our own offers. In regards to other CPA networks, lots of times you'll get a lot of advice from the AMs. Some other companies I work with are F5 Media, ClickBank, obviously, Regal Assets, and yeah, so I'd say Regal Assets, ClickBank, F5 Media, my own company, so it's different. And those are great companies to find offers from. But honestly, it's lots of people here, I'm sure, have found an offer that they want to run. Just find out, make sure people are making money from it, and run the shit out of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, just getting back to what I said as well, John, like, so let's say you just come across this random offer, it looks really good, it's paying out really well. Would you trust going to that company and saying, hey, have you got some affiliates that are making money? Are they open with that? Are they willing to share where the affiliates are getting traffic from and all that kind of stuff?
Well, the ones that don't have affiliates making money from the program aren't going to be willing to share. I can tell you that. Right? So like I was looking at Centros. I was checking out this company the other day, and I asked to join their affiliate program, and they said, "How many affiliates do you have making over $10,000?" And they started kind of skirting around the issue, right? They wouldn't answer me, and that was a dead giveaway that the company was, they didn't have a good affiliate program. Their offer wasn't converting well. They didn't have a lot of traction. Maybe they, they're just, it's not good. I only want to work. I don't want to take chances. I want to make sure other people are making money from whatever I'm deciding to do. So just so I can rule out, the case that the problem um, is the offer. So if there are 3 other people making $10,000 plus a month from the affiliate program, I know that the offer has to convert, and that if I'm not making money, the problem lies with my affiliate.
That makes a lot of sense. And I guess it's kind of a universal concept as well, John, like the successful companies that are running good offers that are converting, they're going to be more willing to share than someone who, another offer that's just not really doing well. They're going to, like you're saying, they're going to skirt around the issue. They're going to be hesitant to answer questions, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That makes sense.
Good. Yep.
All right. So I'm just going to give it another couple of minutes just because of the lag, okay. But it looks like that's all the questions for the time being.
Okay. Yeah, go on.
So I don't know if you wanted to cover anything else, John, but I was just going to say that eventually if we could get to reviewing the sites for the people on the call.
Let's do it. So let's go down here.
So Toki, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. I apologise if I'm not, but I know that you wanted your site reviewed. So John will get to that soon.
Okay. So Daily Meditate. First, I'm going to review this. Is Mundell Axelson on the call?
I'm not 100% sure.
Can't you just look?
It doesn't actually tell me who the actual people that are on the call, unfortunately. So, but Robert, if you are on the call, if you could just let us know, just type in a question and just let us know that you're here. We'd appreciate that. Maybe if you want to come back to that one, John.
Okay.
But I know that Toki's definitely on the call, so.
Okay. Why is there such a lag?
It's just because when we start the Hangouts, it actually takes so the page where people are actually viewing this video, it takes a couple of minutes for it to catch up and realize that the video started for some reason.
Okay. So the good and bad of Gold IRA companies. Hi, I'm Toki. So mom to be, I really decided to, blah blah blah. Recommend you bookmark this bit, do 7 as to respect. Okay, blah 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 blah. The gold company it shows. good and best. So far, I think this is really good. This is actually this is exactly the sort of template I advise people use for my gold IRA students. One thing I would suggest is that you use some sort of image of a person rather than a picture, or put a picture of yourself here, maybe above company it shows, or put an image of yourself, not your. It doesn't, whatever, maybe somebody who looks like yourself or something like that, but just put a picture of somebody they can connect with, so it seems more personal, it seems more like a real blog. People won't doubt. People don't doubt. When people come to sites like mine, people don't doubt this is a real person. You've probably seen the reason the last episode, but this seems real. People come across this site and they actually think this is a real review, or it's on paper. I like this. I don't know if this takes away from the conversion rate, but I recommend you come to this page if you're going to get new. But I like that. I haven't tried that out yet. I'd be testing this. A few things I'm noticing. Let me check this out. You have ClickTail, perfect. You have Clicky, that's awesome. You're measuring people. You have the AdWords conversion pixel, that's great. Keep in mind, it's a little hard to get these sites passed through on AdWords now. That's a different issue altogether. I'm sure you've heard about that. Google Analytics, great. Stat counter, Yahoo Analytics, great, because you're advertising in big. That's where you should be advertising. This is stat counter up here. This is great. So you have, and this is a plugin called Ghostery, by the way. I always make sure my sites have a lot of pixels up. Use debt limit and debt limit versus goals. So you're showing, this is good because you're kind of giving scientific proof. Such a negative correlation with the rate of money. You're giving scientific proof to the person that this is real. Notice what you do is you do that emotional proof. I, my mom to be, and you're giving them that scientific reason. The chart kind of owns that in. I love it. Love it. You have a lot of copy here. I'd probably board it up with more stuff. Main considerations when choosing a gold IRA. This is a gold choice. Grab a pen, get your favorite drink, and write this down. Talking questions. Question 1. Fucking perfect. This is what people in this audience are thinking. Obviously, you've listened to my interviews as well with gold companies. Question 2. How will you store my gold? Will my gold be coming? So for the rest of the audience, these are what Toki is doing here. She's empowering the audience with really specific questions they can ask. They can ask these gold IRA or these gold companies. They're so specific, and they're going to be really helpful. They're empowering the customer. They're creating more trust, and overall, it's going to help your conversion. Ask these 10 questions when you search a gold company. So one thing I would say is you have to give that recommendation. Say, what's the company you chose? Get into the company you chose a little more. Maybe put a link. Click here to go directly to see the company, to read the review of the company that shows real assets, right? And I would get into that. The company it shows is featured in the invite. Right. I do a bigger picture that stands out a little more. Maybe I'd make the text bold, but I'd take, I'd be interested to know what percentage of people are actually clicking through from this page. That's what I would say. Let's say are at least 10 to 20% of people coming from this page looking for legal assets, and of those people looking for legal assets, what percentage of people should be follow on. I talk, recommend it for great companies, blah, 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 blah. It's pretty good. Oh. You had my calls on here. That's great. Yeah. So you can't have the calls on here. The company's told me not to do. But this is great. Yep. Major call to action. You're getting towards the end. You're just hammering call to action. I really like it. I really like it. I think you need to have some links earlier on, but I do some measurements. I look at Get Clicky or Clicktail and figure out where people are dropping off. But other than that, I mean, you're amazing for doing everything right. And it sucks what happened with AdWords, but you're doing everything right. Just a few small tweaks. And for other people, this is a great example of a really solid review site. As I said, the calls to action could be a bit strong. Cool.
Awesome. So one thing that I'm kind of picking up there, John, is it just looks kind of like a blog to me. It doesn't look like this amazing, flashy, corporate website, but I've heard this saying in terms of paid traffic, sometimes ugly actually converts better. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. So here, we don't want people to know that what we're doing is advertising. Because once people tag you, once people identify you as a salesperson, because this is what we are, we're salespeople. We're salespeople in print. That's what we are. We're all salespeople here. This is a sales, this is a sales message. We're trying to get people to buy something. We want to seem helpful. The best salespeople come across as just helpful people who you could be friends with and who you can relate to on a personal level. Those are the best salespeople. And that's what we want to do. In all of our advertising, we want to come across as helpful people who could be friends with the prospect if we spent more time together. And, we have relevant information. That's exactly how this comes across. If you keep that tone with all sorts of advertising, you're good. If you make yourself seem too much like a salesperson, it's an uphill battle. Once somebody says, "Hey, this person's trying to take my money," you immediately grow resistant to anything. Anything else they say from their mouth is put through a filter, and that filter is they've already identified you as a salesperson. Does that make sense?
Hmm. I've done some cold calling, John. It's the same concept that you're talking about. As soon as someone picks up on that, the fact that you're trying to sell them something,
Yeah.
you instantly sense it. The wall goes up, the barrier goes up. They don't care what you say.
It's the same thing with marketing. If you come across as helpful, you're good. So I had a buddy who was really good at cold calling, and what he actually did was he had an assistant that would call up companies in a certain niche, let's say flower stores. And the person, let's say dentists. It's great. So he'd call up a dentist, and his assistant would call up a dentist. He'd say, "Hey, Mr. And I want to speak with Mr. Clark," and his assistant would say, "Who the hell is this?" And he'd say, I'm a fellow dentist or something along those lines." They said, "Hey, I wanted to, speak with you. I'm a fellow dentist, and you basically say, I've noticed that, I just figured I'd let you know, I forget what I was researching, but I came across your website and I noticed you didn't have a lot of these things for to make your website show up. Now you're in a different part of town, so I don't really mind telling you this, but I just figured since I had some time on my hands, I just figured I'd give you a call and tell you, I was working, like you should do this, this, and this, and there's a really great person I could for you to speak to him. He helps out with like SEO and like website stuff if you want." And the dentists were usually like, "Oh yeah, thanks for letting me know, and yeah, I'd love to meet you sometime," and blah blah blah. He's like, "Yeah, maybe we'll grab lunch or something, but I'll just shoot an email. What's your email?" And I'll introduce you to you. And he seemed helpful. And those introductions turned into so many sales for the SEO salesperson. It was incredible. It was making hundreds of
That's cool.
dollars. That's sales, but the fact of the matter is, people didn't have their defenses up the entire time. At no point during any of those conversations did people have defenses up, because it came off so natural and helpful.
It's like that concept. Like when I look at people that are just like really just naturally generous and they just want to help you, you know, you can just tell that those people just, you know, they can ask people that know them for pretty much anything that they want, and they'll give it to them. You know, just because they're so helpful. And yeah, I don't know. It just seems to be that concept.
Yep. So do it with internet marketing. That's the point. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You get your head around that factor in internet marketing, and you can advertise yourself almost anywhere. You know, but either way, you'll figure that out really quickly. The point is launch.
Hey, John, Toki's asking if her site would be good to advertise on Facebook.
I've tested some Facebook advertising. Honestly, I'm going to start testing it again probably in the next few days, just because I've been learning a lot about Facebook advertising, and I'm going to, you know, I'm going to try new angles. I'm going to try, you know, I keep honing my approach, so I'm just going to try to hammer away, you know, continue to hammer away at Facebook to get Regal assets to work. So there's people are out there, and you know, I'm going to send them to my review site. I might even send them to a news site. So we'll see what I do. But anybody who's in my second tier at Regal Assets, I will open up those angles for them once I've tested them.
Yeah, John, I know a little bit about Regal myself and what was going on there, and it seemed like the successful affiliates were all using AdWords. So I guess the question remains, now that I guess they've made it a little bit more difficult or whatever it is that they've done, are there others, in your opinion, or in you know, just your gut instinct based on your experience or whatever, do you think that there's other scalable traffic sources out there for the gold niche, because it's such a profitable niche, you know?
Facebook and Bing. So Facebook and Bing. Two other sources that I'm actually really excited to get into are content marketing sites such as Taboola, Outbrain, Content Ad. I'd say Ad Sonar. I'd say those are the four main ones. Taboola, Outbrain, Content Ad, and Ad Sonar. Those are news article recommendation sites that have, you know, where basically I'm one of the approaches I'm creating is news articles, advertorials to promote Regal assets, and I think that should be good.
Awesome. I'm just going to quickly see if there's any more comments or questions.
And by the way, if people, I have a lot of trainings available for people who, you know, available for people who want to work under me on Regal Assets. I'm one of the three coaches there, Tokinos. I just posted my my link in the comments, so that should yeah, if people want access to lots of my trainings and how to set up a proper WordPress blog, and to do paid advertising and all this stuff, we have a really active Skype group, and it's pretty fun. So.
Awesome. Hey, so Toki's asked as well, would it be wise to create a Facebook page and test my blog as well?
Yeah, definitely. I don't see why not. Yeah, free time. This is, you know, I look at this as a full-time job. I'm always creating, you know, new things. So I have a lot of Facebook pages. I have a ton of Facebook pages. I have, you know, I've tried tons of advertising. I'm only running traffic to one of those Facebook pages. So I'm spending $1,000 a day on Facebook, and you know, that's just one campaign. I'm running on Facebook. I'm running a lot on AdWords. I'm constantly seeking for new sources.
Awesome. So if people want to get training from you and support from you, John, the site that you gave me, the Regal Assets one, is that the best one for them to go to?
Yeah, I would have them join my downline. I would have them add me on Facebook. I put up a lot of posts on Facebook. I'm not personally going to, I will chat with people in the Regal Assets Skype group. I tell them to join my affiliate network. We have training videos in there as well. There are a number of different ways. I don't have a formal product yet, but I would tell people just add me on Facebook and just stay in the loop. So
awesome. So if someone's if someone's watching this, John, they're just getting started, or they're looking to just getting started, or they're looking to get serious about paid advertising, that's what you recommend? Get in touch with you via Facebook, or is there like a product that you recommend, or what's the first step?
Honestly, I'm not. I can't guarantee I'll respond to everybody who contacts me because I am. There are a lot of I've had a lot of I've had some products over the years. I have a lot of coaching. I have a lot of people who are under me coaching Regal Assets. But I'd say the best thing is to sign up to either sign up under me in Regal Assets or to add me on Facebook, and you will be in the loop with what I'm doing. And you'll also get access to all sorts of video trainings. So if you add me on Facebook, you send me your best email, I'll add you to my Google Drive folder where I have all of my trainings in there, and you'll be able to see what I do. And I think you'll get a lot of information.
Awesome. So if anyone is interested in signing up to John's site, so if you go to the page where this video is streaming, you'll see just next to the video where it says details, there'll be a link that says official site. So just click that, and that will take you over to that website.
Yeah, that'll be the best way. Send me your email through Facebook, say you found it from the webinar, and I'll add you to all my affiliate trainings, and you'll be good.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, John. This has been really good, really helpful. I've learned a lot, so I really appreciate your time today.
Cool, no problem. Yeah, guys, and I would appreciate the feedback. I don't do many of these webinars, and I've been told I should do more. So if you guys have any questions or feedback for future topics, or future things I can talk about, or maybe you want me to spend more time in my campaigns, or maybe you want me to just talk about the mentality more to help motivate you guys, whatever it is, let me know. It helps. And if you want me to do another webinar with more of this, just let them know, and I'd be willing to, I'd be more than happy to, go over things again if it's going to be good for you. Other than that, thanks a lot, Marcus. And yeah, all the best.
Awesome, man. So just if anyone's still on the call, I'd really appreciate it if you could go to the Warrior Forum and just leave a review for me. So just let us know what you thought about the call, whether good or bad. So yeah, just go to marcusmclean.com/WSO. So that's marcusmclean.com/WSO, and that will take you over to that link. So best of luck to everyone. Thank you for your time today, and thank you again, John. And best of luck to you as well, sir.
No problem. Have a good one.